Saddam, so who's here? I think I heard Sadnakar.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, good. Welcome. And who else is here?
Well, I'm actually on the phone today.
Oh, I'm kind of on the phone. Oh, bless you, dear.
Quickly, I think the recording you have on your website from last week is not the full thing. It's very small file size.
Okay. I'll check that. This has happened before, so I will check that. Thank you very much. And so I was a little late, actually, looking for your communication about your puppy, your dog, Ron?
Yes.
So, God bless you, dear.
She's doing better than she did last night.
Well, it seems as though nights are worse for pain for any being.
Yes. And right now she's laying in front of the front door. So if I want to go out front, like leave the house, I have to go out the back through the garage to the car.
Okay, so we'll include Ron in our heart breath this morning.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh. And who else is here?
Suzanne is
Tomas
here.
and Rahmani.
Rahmani and Tomas, welcome. And who else was that?
Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne. Welcome. Who is this? Somebody spoke up, but I didn't quite get it. Who's here? Well, who else is here? Maybe a lot of people took off for the holiday. Okay. Seems like we should sing something like it's a grand old flag or something, you know? Sadnakar, would you give us a few lines?
You're a high flying flag. I always go, God bless John Laddie Ledge. I do the home version.
Oh, okay.
That's my husband.
Well, God bless you, dear.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. How about that? And so please sit straight. Long, deep breath. From the belly, through the nose. Long, deep breath. Relax in the breath. Relaxing in your third eye. And inhale to begin the tuning in mantra. Long deep breath. And begin heart breath. That is long, deep breath. And on the exhale, feel as though the air on the exhale is coming out of your heart center. Good. And now, please send this heart breath to each other, to everyone, whether you're on this line now or listening to it or part of our tribe. Please send heart breath. Connect and allow yourself to be connected. Good. Okay. And now, please send this precious heart breath to Utmakaram and her doggie named Braun, who's having a lot of difficulty now. And I'm also going to ask you to send it to the people, basically the underpinnings of the financial system of the world, who may be living in, or anybody who's living in corruption or greed right now. Remember, we're not above them. We're not judging. We're just saying that's a hell of a place to be. Must be painful. Send your heart breath. Good. Pure, powerful heart breath. Good. Now inhale and exhale. Living totally in your heart. Your heart is the amalgam of heaven and earth. That's where they meet, that's where they cross over, and that's where the energy of this plane truly lies, at the heart. Okay, so, sir, he says, yes. Sir, what do you have to tell us? He says, I have to tell you. He says, I have to tell you that there is greed and corruption everywhere. He says, now, I don't want you to go overboard and get guilty. He says, this is not what I'm asking. He says he just wants us to become so much more, to have so much more nerve, he says. That is stability, knowledge, and awareness. And that's the reason why he's going to tell us this. Not for us to become overcome, grief-stricken, guilty, and so on. Okay? He says, by virtue of living on earth, he says, we all fit in that category. He says, so this is a wake-up call for us. He says, simply by living from our mind's desire, he says we live in a space of what simply, in its most simplest terms, might be called corruption. He says, but don't worry. He says that's the way the world is made up. So now I'm asking him, sir, oh, well, what shall we do about it? He says, the first thing to do is to love yourself. He says, don't start with judging. He says, start with loving. He says, that's the way always to handle these situations. So now please do heart breath for your own self. Great appreciation of you as this incredible organism who is carrying out soul's design, soul's adventure in this world that we may call less than perfect, he says, which is interpreted now as corruption. He says, it's a very heavy word, isn't it? He says, well, I'm saying it for impact, but he says, again, don't get into guilt, don't get into worry, judgment. He said, that would only take you further overboard. He says, begin by loving yourself totally and completely. He says, remember, this is not an either-or situation. This is not climbing out of the rat hole, so to speak. This is not climbing out of the hell. It is not climbing out of the original sin. He says, no. This is just a space that your infinity, your soul, has decided to live through for eons, for generations, for lifetimes. So please appreciate that. Appreciate that all is God. All is God. All has a purpose. He says you may not appreciate the purpose. In our limited viewpoint, we may not appreciate the purpose, but he says all has purpose. Keep up the breath. Keep up loving yourself. Remember, you're loving yourself and what he calls the two components. One is the everyday self. One is your soul. He says, of course, they are of the same. They are of the same. He says, but we just are looking at them as companions right now. The companions of one body, of one life. Love yourself. Love your kindness, love your goodness, and love your unconsciousness. Love them all. Why leave anything out? He says this is not a trip of punishment. You can see that the consciousness of punishment simply leads to more corruption. You can see that. You can look at that over history, over your current era. This concept of good and bad, or good and evil. He says, please keep up the heart breath and love. Love all aspects of yourself. He says it is a competition. The competition, the loneliness, the hurt, the desire, the insecurity that spawns what is not love. It spurns a separation. He says, here we are in the other end. He says, or at the center, simply propelling love out into the universe. Out into the universe of you. Within the universe of you. Find that preciousness, that innocence. Please associate entirely with it. please associate entirely with the essence of you, which is the universal essence. Simply because we don't understand that sometimes, we become short-sighted and we drop off the other side. He says, oh, love it as though it were a small child that just got its fingers a little burnt on the stove, so to speak. He says the child learned, whoops, that's not the way to live. That is not my quest. That is, embracing the hot stove is not my quest, he says. So love the child of you. Love the fights within. Love the humor within. You love the ability, the determination. He says, and let go the disappointment. As you love the disappointments within you, he says, let them feel so loved that they relax. They relax in your own arms. He says, love them intensely. He says, love the lack of love in you. That which feels separated or lonely, that which feels unconnected, and love that which is totally connected. Love the whole gamut. Love it. Use your heart breath now. You can do that. He says, when we say there is nothing but love, what we're saying also is there's nothing but God. This true feeling, this true experience, that is the ultimate of connection, that goes beyond grasping for connection. It goes beyond that. That which totally expands and knows itself is all. He says, that is love. That is love. That is where the light is. That is where the light is. And the darkness, the confusion, the hurt, he says, that's a temporary resource. He says you may keep it over lifetimes and you may think it's perpetual. He says it's temporary. He says prove that now. Bring the light of your own love, which is frankly the coziness of the God essence. Allow yourself to totally be that. Heart breath, pure, open, flowing. Allowing all the energy of your whole body, the upper body, lower body, coming together at the heart center, your whole psyche, all of your inspirational aspects, and all of your, we'll call it disinspirational aspects, coming together, loving one another. Huge reunion from the heart. This is a time of family reunions. He says, reunite the family of your own self. Love, love, love. He says, become intoxicated with the love. He says, what a precious being you are. He says, bringing all the parts of you together, all of them connected, not fighting, but all in love and in respect. In love and respect is how you move towards unity. He says, oftentimes we become very well versed in understanding that this is a good thing to do with other people. He says, now I'm asking you to take all of your different aspects, could be millions of aspects. Remember, you have the remnants and the influence of past lives as well as ancestors, the influence of the culture. All of these things have imprinted on you, and they become all aspects of you. Please bring them together into the fountain, to be nourished by the fountain of loving light, to be bathed in that loving light. Keep up the heart breath. He says, now you might find, he says, just wait a minute. He says, and now let one particular aspect that perhaps has sought to rule you, that has sought to maybe undermine you, maybe to forget who you are, any circumstances in that regard. He says, just let them come up now into your awareness. It might be an awareness of, oh, I'm not worthy. It might be an awareness of, why don't they listen to me? It might be judging myself and others. It might be a suffering from a feeling that you must be perfect. Whatever it is, let it come up. Keep up the breath. He says, and now, bathe it in this extraordinary, nourishing light of love. Offer it the nourishment, the cleansing, the kindness, the connection. And let it melt into your arms of love, of total acceptance. Total acceptance and love. Which helps that aspect to realize that it doesn't have to fight anymore. It doesn't have to hold this concept of perfection anymore. Simply relaxing in the light and the love is the flow of the universal protection and perfection. It's very cozy. It's very open. Allowing self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness. Forgiveness for what may have unconsciously or subconsciously kept you separated from yourself. Remember the story of the prodigal son? The son who left the family, left his inheritance. And when he finally came back, he was showered with love. Feel all the prodigal aspects of you coming and joining in this beautiful one consciousness, one awareness. Precious, beyond belief. Good. And now rest in that preciousness, that coziness, that totally expanding light. He says, of your whole family of universes as one. This is who you are. This beautifully united and accepted world of beings that act as one. Act as one. And that serve the one consciousness. Just feel that one consciousness now, which is actually your experience of the love, your experience of the knowing, your experience of soul. Feel that preciousness. Open your heart. Open your heart. And allow all to have a celebration around the campfire of love, partaking in its light. Good. And now what has happened to that aspect? What has happened to that aspect? That particular aspect that you saw, that you felt, that you knew? Has it changed? Has it opened? And now, what does it contribute to the oneness of you? What does it contribute to the oneness of you now that it is recognized itself as being loved and has fallen in love with the universal family of you? What does it contribute? What a pleasure. What does it give you? How do you appreciate it? What is the story of its transformation? Now, being so grateful for who you are, so grateful for what you are, as this living presence of the great heart, we'll call it, which is the total presence of the God here in this aspect of defined time and space. You, as the earth-living God, the universal, living in this defined time and space. What is your experience here? What is your experience in this loving, this living, this connection? And now, as this one beautiful oneness loving, he says, open up, open up. And he says, allow your own family, your own friends, your own relatives. He says, no matter what difficulties they are facing, no matter what degrees of unconsciousness they are dealing with, he says, you've seen how it works in you. He says, please invite them into the loving. He says, but it's very important for you not to be afraid as you do this. Also, he's not suggesting that you allow them to take you over. No. He's saying simply, in their essence right now, is to offer the loving kindness, the purity of heart, the acceptance, the forgiveness that is available through you, through the universe of you. Do that now. Rest in that. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Continue the heart breath. Continue the forgiveness. Allow the light to come forward, where before it was shuttered out. Allow the light to come forward. He says, and acknowledge, let that light be reclaimed within the whole family, your whole lineage, your whole lifetimes. Use your breath. He says, of course, he says, you've heard. You are the one that you have been waiting for. He says, but when we say you, we are not singling you out as separate. He says, we are calling you the spark of cosmic consciousness of this family, whether it be your family of your own self, or your family of lifetimes, or your family of lineage, or your current family of relatives and friends. You are simply that aspect who is calling the light right now for the pure, the total organism of full connection, of full heart. He says you opted for that consciousness. Be grateful for it. He says, and play your part. He says, didn't you choose a good part? Of course you did. Okay, and he says, laugh, love, and be happy. He says, that's who you are. He calls that's who you are on the service grid of light. Understand that you are all, and you live in the pure presence of all. He says, let your contentment show, let your life show, let your love show. He says, there is no pretense in this. There is only simplicity, and simplicity opens the heavens. Simplicity opens the light. He said you can call it authenticity. You can call it without curtains. You can call it whatever you want. He says, but it is pure simplicity because there are no barriers between you and the light. You operate as one, just as you would not separate out your concept of yourself from the concept of your blood. No. One. Breathe. Understand your experience now. Be grateful for it. Good. And inhale. And exhale. And grounding yourself by sending your beautiful energy down into the center of Mother Earth to feel her steadiness. Her steadiness. Her manifestation. Your manifestation. Keep up the breath. And allowing that presence to move all through you in a cycle. Then inhale. And exhale. He says, oh, now, dear ones, it's time for you to share. He says you can pick out any aspect of experience that you would like. He says, and also, or you may pick out the aspect of you that came forward to be forgiven and reunited in pure love. Okay, he says, now who will jump in first? Remember the swordsman jumping to the fore immediately. Oh. He says prizes for the first one.
After that.
Car, do you want to go?
Sure. I was walking from a horizon.
Oh, good.
Yes, that was the image I had, and it was so beautiful that there was a lot of horizons, like rolling hills of horizons. They were all really lush, and there was, you know how something is really small in the distance, but you feel it and sense it? Then all these people were walking closer and closer to me, just approaching in joy.
Oh, wonderful.
And
so how did that feel to you? Good. How did that feel to you?
Like, oh my gosh, they're here, you know, like this is the gathering is here. We are here. And I had this feeling they all like looked like me, but I didn't really see them.
You didn't?
I didn't really see them because they were kind of at a distance, but I had this feeling they looked like me.
Oh, okay.
Like how I look, and that was kind of funny.
Good. And what about your actual family?
My actual family, I had for the healing part a lot of that surface for dissolving and embracing.
Did you like it?
Oh, I did. From what I've been working on this week, and it just was more peace and more sweetness and forgiveness in watching it. In my mind's own reruns of it, it's like, oh, this is just so sweet, and this is really you looking at this, and
wonderful.
That is nicer than
that what?
Kinder. It is nicer and kinder to watch.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And that emanates from the love from within. Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Good. That's fabulous. Thank you, dear. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
Oh, I think it's me, Siri Gian.
Oh, good. Suzanne?
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I think for me it was an awareness that unworthiness is such a block to the purity of energy, the pure energy. It's a block.
Yay! You got it. You got it.
It's amazing. No, it's amazing. But the block let's say it's in with me, but then it blocks it to everybody else. And
say that again. Explain that.
I guess in recognizing my unworthiness, that if I continue that, and I'm not able to share, it blocks the energy coming through, so then I can't share it with everybody else.
There you go.
Yeah, it sounds, you can say it, but it's amazing how you have to feel it.
That's right. Visceral, to make it true. Know it entirely.
Right, or to even know that you have unworthiness. The depth of it, and maybe that's the familial, long-time carrying of it.
Yes, well, it is a big part of our culture, isn't it? Our Judeo-Christian culture.
I think so.
Okay, and my belief in, Baba Siri Chand says, yes, this is true. That belief in unworthiness, deeply held, is what has kept us, under the thumbs of the power that be. Do you understand?
I'm afraid I do, more than I want to. Yes.
Accept it now, dear. Oh, yes. And so it looks like that may be your teaching path, to teach all that they are not unworthy, that they are the God within, so how could they possibly be unworthy? What do you think of that? Suzanne? Are you there, Suzanne? Is anybody else here?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Good. Okay. Okay, so Suzanne, are you here? Well, God bless. Sometimes these phones play huge tricks on us. So we'll hear her when she comes back. Oh, Suzanne, are you back?
Hello?
Suzanne? Yes.
Yes, there was a disconnection.
Yeah, we figured that.
Sorry about that.
Well, that's the way the universe works. So, what do you think about that idea that now that you've discovered this, that it becomes your delight to teach other people of their worthiness?
Well, I think that's, for me, it seems to be a sense of coming into my life purpose. I'm just toying with that, so it's new. Or taking command of what's been given.
Yes.
And in that, it is empowering, and the empowerment is a leadership, or gives the ability for leadership, or I guess that's also healing for people that need it. And maybe that's the understanding of when you have unworthiness, you see it in others.
Yes, it turns into judgment, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
good. It's a matter of turning judgment to compassion, yes?
Yeah, I actually wouldn't have used the word judgment. Maybe
what would
it
you
is
use?
that I would have tended to, I wouldn't have gone to as, sorry, I guess I have visitors. I wouldn't have gone as harshly to judgment, but maybe an observer.
I didn't quite get all that. Would you say it again?
Oh, I think I probably don't consider myself more of as much a judgment, one of that would use judgment, but more of observer, an observer. But I think more for anything, it's I know what it is. I judge myself more.
Have you forgiven that?
Today.
Well, write it down and keep it by your mirror or your altar or something.
Yeah, I think so. I literally, it's something I've been working on, and I thought it was really wonderful that I was able to connect today, because my phone was disconnected twice.
Oh my gosh!
I thought, no, I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to hear it.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, dear. So, keep up.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Okay. Bless you. Now, who else can share? Come forward. Be brave. Live in your light. Maybe we just have a few people on the line today. Rahmani, do you have any contributions?
Hi, Siri Gian.
Hi, dear.
Hi. When you mentioned the term the great heart, I thought of a poem that Tomas wrote called The Great Heart.
And, do you have it there?
Yeah. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
The Great Heart. I am part of the great heart. My arteries are streams, and the sea is my breast. Nestled within my lap, the soft wolf lies, with eyes like stars. I am a child aglow with smiles, enthralled by the moon, and drawn into a wild dance with big-pawed friends. I am a relative of the free-giving wind, living my cry of thanks. I am a lover who adores the Earth Mother. May all live in peace. May all see our gift, for we are all a part of the great heart. For we are all part of the great heart.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Tomas, you get it, don't you?
Yeah, I get it.
Good. Thank you so much, dear. We really appreciate that.
And for me, with my love of the Aramaic language, I was struck by the fact that the word for forgive in Aramaic is almost the exact same sound as the word to praise. It's just in one case there's a KH, and the other case there's a Q, and they both have a very guttural sound, but all the other letters are the same. So it's Shabak or Shavak. And so I thought that was not coincidental, that praise is almost the same sound as forgive.
Wow.
Just a little deeper in the throat.
A little deeper in the throat.
Yeah, the praise one has more opening of the throat for more breath, and the forgiveness one goes way back in to kind of dislodge caught stuff.
I love that image. Good. Thank you so much. Praise and forgiveness. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, can anybody else share? Who are you in your beautiful hearts? Okay, it seems as though we are having a holiday. Oh, I just have to tell people, if you're not from the U.S., this is the 4th of July, which is the date of the signing of our Declaration of Independence from Great Britain. And so this is what we count as the beginning of America, and it's a big holiday full of fireworks. And here are fireworks of heart. So we will just regard this as our holiday. So, God bless you all. Enjoy yourselves. Don't get sunburned. And enjoy yourselves in your family reunions. Okay, so is Kehar here by any chance? Okay. So let's just keep each of us all in our hearts together as a oneness. So palms together at the center of the chest. Beautiful heart breath. And inhale to begin. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Inhale. Sat and bow to that purity, that oneness, that beauty of heart that you are, that we are, that all are. Sat Nam. Bless you. Have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you, Sat Nam.
Sat Nam.